2 live videos in a row. What? That's not true. I took a break. I went to the bathroom. I chopped onions so I wouldn't get all emotional on you guys. Speaking of chopping onions, I found out a surefire way to chop onions without crying. You chop them underwater. I know. Unfortunately, that's not super practical. But don't say I never offered you a good tip. Okay, so we're making spaghetti sauce for dinner. We typically don't eat, well, some of us never eat regular spaghetti. When we do eat spaghetti, we usually eat gluten-free spaghetti, but of course this month we're doing the Whole30, so no grains. And so we're eating spaghetti squash, which I actually prefer to spaghetti. If you've never made spaghetti squash, it's okay because I had never made it before, like, sometime this year. I don't know. I think this was the first year I've ever bought it. So, anyway. So, making your homemade spaghetti sauce is super simple, and I actually didn't realize that this was a thing people didn't know how to do. So, if you know how to make spaghetti sauce, good for you. I'm excited. I do too. And I'm going to share this for people who don't know how to make spaghetti sauce. And of course, there's lots of variations. And again, I'm really, really bad at like measuring anything, but I just want to show you the basics of it. So if you either don't like the spaghetti sauce at the store, or you don't like the ingredients in the sauce at the store, or you don't have time to go to the store, this is how you make it. So usually we use beef in our spaghetti sauce. Today we don't have any beef that's not frozen, so we're using pork, ground pork. This is the same pork I used for my sausage patties that we made last week. And so for our family we use, oh, it's so easy. Okay, so keep watching. So for our family we use 2 pounds of ground beef, or sausage in this case, because there are 8 of us. And then, depending on how much onion you like and the size of your onions, you can choose how much to put in. I did 3 small onions today. We really like onion. So, I probably could have done another one. But I was, like, already crying. So, we just did 3. So far we have 2 pounds of ground pork, 3 small onions just chopped up, and, oh, garlic. I'm going to throw the garlic in. So, here's how my measuring of garlic works, because we also love garlic. You ready? That looks good. That was, I don't know, maybe 2 tablespoons? No idea. I did manage to get it on the outside, but that's totally normal because I'm a slob. So garlic, about 2 tablespoons of garlic, and then salt and pepper. We've talked about pink salt before. Don't use that bleached table salt, please. Pink salt. Super good for you. Not super bad for you. All right, black pepper. And then oregano and basil. More than you think you need. I usually put in more than I think I need, and then after I put the tomatoes in, I'm like, oh, I need more. My pink salt I buy... I usually buy it from Azure, but I think Azure Standard, before I started buying it from Azure, I was buying it on Amazon. If you're a Vitality oil user, you can totally add oils to your sauce, but I actually like the pieces of herbs in my sauce. But like if your kids don't like that, you could totally use oils, but just start with like this much because it's really, really strong. So I'm going to crank the heat. Today we did the meat. My daughter started the meat, so it was actually cooked before the onion. Usually I do it all together, but today this is just how the day is going. She started cooking it, I think, while I was doing my last video. So we're going to let that cook, and while it's kind of sauteing, I'm going to open up the sauces. So you can use fresh tomatoes. I don't typically use fresh tomatoes, partially because I never have them, partially because I don't really want to chop them up. It's just lazy. You could put them in a blender though. So what I usually buy are the Meijer Naturals. They're not organic, but they have less other stuff in them. there's some kind of controversy over tomatoes and cans and how it's not good for you, and this is the only, really the only cans that we buy pretty much are tomato sauce, and we eat it really occasionally, so I haven't really worried about it. That's probably the wrong answer. Someone give me some education on that so I can choose to not buy them in a can, would you? Alright, so we're opening these. So we're doing one large can, large being the 29-ounce can. So not the like regular small can, but the next size. It's almost twice as big, I think. So we're doing a can of tomato sauce, and we're doing a can of diced tomatoes. If you don't like chunks in your sauce, you could just do all tomato sauce. Alright, so since the meat is almost done, this will not really take very long. But I'm going to let it cook up a few minutes to make sure that the onions get soft. You could use onion powder if you don't like onions. Can you guys hear this music? I don't know what this is I have on my playlist. It does not sound familiar at all. Alright, let's see. Well, I didn't plan very well. I'll go ahead and get out the spaghetti squash. You guys can watch my food for a second. Make sure it doesn't burn. You got them? Okay. You want to bring them over here? I'll grab a can. So our family eats 3 regular-sized spaghetti squash if this is the primary meal. Tell me what you guys are eating for dinner. I want to hear what's going on. If you've never bought a spaghetti squash, oh no, this one's starting to get yucky. This is what they look like. Hey, look, there's a theme going on today. Oh, no, hold on. Here we go. How many of you watched my last video? Look, it's the same size. That one's even like really the same size because it's like round. What is going on? Okay, our spaghetti squash are like starting to rot. I don't know what's going on. Never had that happen before. It's because I'm doing a video. That's why. Hey, Leah. Hey, Christina. Okay, so parchment paper. I started using parchment paper like, I don't know, a couple years ago. Totally did not know that it was any different from wax paper. Kept hearing people talk about parchment paper. Y'all, it is not the same. Wax paper will make a disaster of a mess with your cookies. Parchment paper will not. Will you grab the parchment, please? So spaghetti squash. This is how I cook it. There's probably other ways to cook it. I don't care how you cook it. I'm just going to show you how I do it. We'll crank the camera down and see if I don't cut my hand off. If I do, somebody come rescue me. Hold on, we'll stir this real quick.
I'll call 911 if you do.
You'll kind of... My daughter volunteered to call 911 if I cut my finger off. That's so nice. Thank you, honey. Alright.
I noticed this when we were getting them out too. It was
Well, it's
white.
not that, but it's like there's a gooey part on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's yucky.
Our onion's getting close.
Mom,
Yes.
is this parchment?
Yes. What is going on? Clearly I didn't do that. Alright, let's try to crank the phone, see if you can see it. Woo, let's see. There, look at that. It's like one of those fancy overhead views. Yes. Okay. So, spaghetti squash has a stem thing. It's an official garden term. And a sticker, which you don't need. So I usually cut this end off, and then I stand it up to cut the rest of the way. It's super hard. Okay, so again, I don't know what's happening with the spaghetti squash here. I've never had them look like they're rotten before, so we'll see how it looks on the inside. Otherwise, this will totally ruin my dinner plans.
It'll make it better for me.
It'll make it better for you. Yeah, she doesn't love spaghetti squash. Okay. So, alright, just a speck. I'm not sure what the deal is there. So when you open up the spaghetti squash, there's all the seeds inside. And where's the other spoon? The really flat one?
Yeah.
I have this one spoon that I really like to use to scoop it out because it's like really thin, but it's also missing. So we'll just use a different one. Alright, so you scoop out the inside It's all seeds. I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe cut that part off. I'm not really sure what's going on with that part. Usually I just do this right over the trash can, actually, because, will you get me a bowl, sweetie? Because, it's just easier. Plus, if you do it over the trash can, what? No, just the white, the clear bowls. If you do it over the trash can, you have the added bonus of, like, accidentally dropping it in there. Which is really exciting. So, we're not going to do that right now, though, because I'm on camera. Are you getting me a big bowl? Honey, just a big glass bowl, please. Okay, so anyway, you scoop out the insides, and then we'll do these real quick and I'll show you. Yes, that's fine. I'm just putting the seeds in it. No one has told me yet what they're eating for dinner. I'm checking. Someone tell me what you're eating for dinner. Okay, do you see how it's kind of stringy? This is why it's called spaghetti squash. Before I had ever made spaghetti squash, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I thought that was a way that you prepared squash. I had no idea. Whoops. Again with the mess making. Okay, so. Oh, my husband's home.
Hi there.
We're doing a video, honey.
Oh. Maybe I should put some pants on.
Yeah, you should put some pants on. That's a joke. He has pants on. What?
I can give everyone a handful.
No, not right now.
Oh, you're starting behind this.
Well, I was just doing the sauce, but then it wasn't quite ready to put the tomato in. Okay, so we're pulling all the seeds out. Nope, they're already open. Thank you. Pulling all the seeds out, and right now I'm just sticking them in a bowl because I'm not over the trash can dropping my spaghetti squash in there. I don't know what's going on here. I feel like, what, honey? Why don't we eat the seeds? I don't actually know. I'm just going to cook it and see how it is. Okay, so once I do that, we have 3 of them, but I'm just going to show you how we do one of them. Once I do that, then I do parchment on a cookie sheet. We hardly ever make cookies, so our cookie sheets are mostly for real food. I like cookies, don't get me wrong. Alright, parchment. Parchment is the bomb diggity. Makes everything not stick. Like, for real not stick. It's not like a non-stick pan, it's like a legitimate, this is not gonna stick. Okay, olive oil. You do butter? I bet you could do butter. We just always do olive oil. I'm going to do it for right now, sweetie. Alright. Whoops. So olive oil and salt and pepper is all I do on my spaghetti squash. And I basically just dump it in the middle and wipe it all over. Hi, love. You want to do this video with me? No, you can go bike.
Okay. Do you need me to do anything with you?
No.
Alright, I'll just go bike then.
You can say hi if you want, but you'll have to stick your face down there under the camera. Good luck.
Hi.
You see that? I poked him in the nose. Such a good wife. Yeah.
Blow in my face.
It's true. I didn't even think of that. I could have blown in your face. All right. So lots of salt and pepper. I don't know what that was. Like maybe a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons maybe of olive oil. And then salt and pepper. And then sometimes I flip these halfway and sometimes I don't. If I'm not going to flip them, I bake them upside down, flat side down. And the bottom gets really crispy and yummy. You won't see that. Maybe I'll take a picture if I remember. Actually, you should really start them face down anyway, because then when you flip them, they won't be like, if you cook them this way and then you decide to flip them later, some of the liquids will have settled and it makes kind of a mess and defeats sort of the parchment paper purpose. So anyway, so I'm going to flip them. We'll see if I get to spin them over later or not. I need a towel. Let's see. Okay, so our sauce is ready. I mean, our meat is ready. Whoop. You should have popped popcorn. especially with my husband visiting. He's leaving though. Won't be as good anymore. All right. So this is good. We're gonna add in the sauce, the tomato sauce. You're hungry, Mom. I'm a little hungry myself. Okay, so I don't drain stuff.
Can we have termites?
Here is
We'll have to make some.
diced tomatoes and regular tomato sauce.
Can I have one tomato?
Well, I just... Woo! You guys, that's never happened before. Isn't it so fun that this is on video? Okay.
Tomato.
I'm over here making a mess. Where's my paper towel? Ooh, you get to see the cabinet. That was super fun. I have never done that before. What, honey?
No sweat.
Now, I should say that one time I did actually cook my own sauce. But it took a long time. Like, I started with tomatoes and cooked it way down so it would be thicker. I just made a huge mess. Love you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Love you.
One time I cooked it down myself, but it took a long time, and I just didn't want to wait. I could have added paste.
A little bit under the.
I know, there's a bunch under there. What? A tomato. No, I just like ruined your chances of having a tomato, honey. I'm sorry. All right. Don't do this. You should turn off the flame before you do this. Okay, we're gonna see if we can stir this in. So yeah, cast iron. I love cast iron. Some people don't do tomato in their cast iron. I'm what you might call a cast iron rebel. I don't know. I just use cast iron for everything. I love cast iron.
Like this.
The reason that we started using cast iron was because I had done some research on the ingredients in the non-stick pans, and I wasn't interested in using those. And then I tried a green pan, like the ceramic coated green pans, and though that was like superb until it got a scratch, and then it was like ruined. I mean, you could still use it, but I had to still use like the plastic flippers, and I couldn't. I was bummed that it was kind of expensive, and then it was sort of ruined with like one little scratch. So anyway, so we started with cast iron, and oh, I just love it. So we have two. You might see. I don't know if you can tell from there. There's a little bit of grease from the meat. I don't care. You could drain it if you want. So we have two cast iron pans this size, and then we have this, which is probably like, I don't know what that is, 8 inches. And then we have like a 6-inch one, which honestly I never really use. So, anyway, like I was saying, some people don't use cast iron for their tomatoes. I have not really had a problem with it. You just want to make sure that you wash it when you're finished and dry it all the way and oil it, which we do anyway after we use it. So, like what I'm seeing right now is that once I added the tomato sauce and the tomatoes, it's now looking really a lot lighter red. So, like I said before, oh, my battery's dying. Like I said before, usually I put in more oregano and basil than I think I'm gonna need, and then after I add the tomato, I still add more. So that's what we're gonna do again. But it's just to taste. So our kids are pretty used to, I wouldn't even say this is spicy, but we use quite a bit of seasonings and
Mom, can I
stuff like
stir
that. No, because it's super full. If your kids are not used to that and you want to start with less, then start with less. That's the beauty of making it yourself, is that you can do whatever you want. I'm hungry. Everyone's hungry in this house. So, anyway, so that's pretty much sauce, and then I just will let it simmer. Oh, the spaghetti squash. Usually I cook that at like 425 kind of depends on the size of your spaghetti squash. I would say 45 minutes to an hour. You can kind of check it. When it's soft and you poke it with a fork, like any other squash that you eat, when it's soft, that's when it's done. So we have a convection oven, so I'm going to put it on convect at 425, and then I'll use 2 pans to do the 3 spaghetti squash split in half. So anyway, then while those are cooking, I just let this simmer, and then it's super delicious by the time the spaghetti squash comes out. So I don't know what we're having on the side. I need to go to the store again. So normally we would have another vegetable, like a broccoli or something. If you do bread, you could have bread or garlic bread would be really good. But anyway, that's basically how we do our sauce. Let me see if I missed any comments while I was doing that.
Mom.
Can you please stop asking me for a snack? I already said not right now. You're laughing. Yeah, I made a mess. Okay, so Katrina's asking. So I did 2 pounds of meat, 3 small onions, 24-ounce tomato sauce, it's 20-something, 28 ounces, whatever, the bigger one. So I did tomato sauce, diced tomato, garlic, it was about 2 tablespoons of garlic, and you want to saute that with the onions and the meat. And I just buy the garlic already minced. There's probably benefits to buying it fresh. I'm lazy. Oregano, salt, pepper, basil. Yeah, I have no idea how much seasoning that is. Probably a couple tablespoons of each, maybe. But it's pretty, we like it pretty seasoned. And then it just simmers. So, yeah, that's about it. All right. Does anyone have any questions before I leave? We have started to really enjoy spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash, by the way, is stringy when it's done, the way that it looks before going in. But if you want to know if it tastes like spaghetti, not really. It doesn't really taste like spaghetti. But I wouldn't really say that it tastes so much like squash when you're putting spaghetti sauce on top of it anyway, because, I mean, pasta doesn't really have that much of a flavor anyway. That's why you put stuff on it. So, anyway. All right, well, I'm going to chop the last couple spaghetti squash. Hopefully I don't chop my fingers. I made a big mess today. You're welcome. I knew you needed some entertainment. So, okay, you like my little fan club? Yep. That's all the time. Yay! All right, well, enjoy your dinner, whatever you're having. If you make some sauce, let me know. I would love to know how you like it. It's super easy. So, have a good evening. I don't plan another video for tonight, so we'll see you another day. Bye.